Did you know that old men who masturbate often go through 6 surprising body changes? Masturbation is one of those topics no one likes to talk about, especially not past a certain age. But here's the truth. Just because it's private doesn't mean it's unimportant. In fact, many older men are surprised to learn that this habit doesn't just affect mood or energy. It can shape their hormones, their heart, their sleep, and even their long-term health in ways they didn't expect. Some of those effects are helpful, others not so much. In this video, we're going to talk openly about 6 changes that can happen in an older man's body as a result of regular self-stimulation. These aren't myths, they're observations backed by medical insight and real-life patterns. Doctors have noticed over the years. We're not here to shame anyone, but we are here to help you understand what's happening inside your body, so you can make better choices for your well-being. Some of what you'll hear may surprise you, some of it may even explain things you've been noticing, but couldn't quite put your finger on, like sudden fatigue changes in sleep, or even slight shifts in emotional balance. By the end of this video, you'll have a clearer view of how this private behavior can affect your physical systems, your hormones, and your overall sense of energy and vitality. Stay with us until the end, because understanding these changes could help you protect your prostate, preserve your heart health, and strengthen your body natural balance. As you age, whatever your choice, it's your body, and you deserve to know what it's trying to tell you. Number 1. Hormonal shifts that alter mood and vitality. One of the first things older men notice, even if they don't always connect the dots, is how their energy and mood can shift. After frequent self-stimulation, that sense of calm or sleepiness right after release isn't imaginary, it's part of a real hormonal response. When a man ejaculates, his body releases a mix of chemicals, dopamine, oxytocin, prolactin, and for younger men these tend to rebalance quickly. But after your system doesn't reset as fast as it used to. What that means is, a release that used to leave you energized might now leave you a little more drained. Instead of bouncing back in an hour, it might take the rest of the day. That's not a flaw, it's part of how the body slows down. With age, testosterone production dips more noticeably, and with repeated stimulation those dips can affect everything from drive to muscle tone to motivation. It doesn't mean the habit is harmful, it just means the timing and frequency matter more now than they did in your 40s. I once spoke with a man named 74, who told me he started feeling more sluggish during the day and couldn't figure out why he wasn't doing anything differently. So he thought, but after journaling his habits for a week he noticed something. On days when he masturbated early, he felt fussier and less engaged. It wasn't guilt, he said, it was just like someone unplugged me for a few hours. That's the hormonal shift at work. The post-release drop in dopamine and testosterone can be more pronounced at this stage of life, and your body simply takes longer to rebound. Some men find balance by spacing out frequency or timing release later in the day when rest is welcome. Others adjust by focusing on other sources of energy, light exercise, deep breathing, or time outside. What matters most is awareness, because once you recognize the pattern, you can work with it instead of wondering why your afternoons suddenly feel heavier. Hormones may not bounce the way they once did, but they're still working, and with a little attention they can still support a life full of clarity, strength, and stability. Number 2. Prostate stimulation and long-term effects. For older men, the health of the prostate becomes more than just a medical concern. It becomes a quality of life issue, and what many don't realize is that masturbation directly affects this small but vital gland. On the one hand, moderate ejaculation has been shown to help clear out the prostate ducts, reducing congestion and lowering the risk of inflammation. For some men, this can actually provide relief from pressure or mild discomfort, especially if they've gone a long time without release. But here's the other side of the coin. When masturbation becomes too frequent, especially without enough hydration, rest, or recovery, it can contribute to irritation. Older prostates are often enlarged to some degree, and with repeated stimulation the surrounding tissue can become more sensitive. This doesn't mean you're doing damage, but it does mean the gland can feel more tender or swollen after too much activity. You might notice a feeling of fullness, mild burning, or a more frequent urge to urinate after climax. I once spoke to a man named Gerald, 78, who said he noticed a dull ache in his lower pelvis every time he climaxed more than once in a day. He thought it was just aging, but when he spaced things out and stayed better hydrated, the discomfort eased. His doctor confirmed what he suspected. His prostate wasn't in danger, but it needed more time between sessions to recover. Turns out, Gerald said, even the things that feel good can ask for a little moderation. Doctors agree that ejaculation in moderation can be helpful for prostate circulation and health. Men over 65, it's important to listen to how the body feels afterward. A little rest, a warm compress, or even taking a few extra days between sessions can reduce pressure on the gland and help maintain long-term comfort. Some men benefit from using prostate-safe positions or engaging in gentle stretches after to reduce tightness in the pelvic region. The point is, your body is giving you feedback. If you feel lighter and more relaxed, that's a good sign. If you feel sore, tight, or unsettled, take that as a message to pause and recover. Because just like any other part of your body, your prostate deserves attention, patience, and care. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 3. Cardiovascular stress during climax. Most people don't think about their heart when they think about pleasure, but if you're over 65, your heart is involved in more ways than you might expect during climax. Your pulse increases, your blood pressure rises, and your body goes through a brief but intense wave of effort. For a younger man, this kind of spike is usually harmless, but for someone with a history of heart disease, high blood pressure, or circulation problems, that sudden jolt can be more than just uncomfortable. It can be risky. Doctors have studied the relationship between sexual activity and cardiac events, and while most moderate activity is safe, there's still a real uptick in cardiovascular demand during orgasm. This includes increased strain on blood vessels, rapid heart rate, and a temporary surge in adrenaline. If you're someone who gets winded climbing stairs or who's managing heart medication, this can take a toll. That doesn't mean you need to stop altogether, but it does mean pacing yourself and knowing your body. I once met a man named Frank, 80, who had survived a minor heart attack. Years earlier, he told me that after intense stimulation, he sometimes felt dizzy or flushed, like his body had overextended. His doctor advised him to breathe slower, move more gently, and avoid buildup that pushed his heart too fast. With that adjustment, Frank said, "I still enjoy myself. I just don't treat it like a race anymore." If you've ever felt lightheaded, had chest tightness, or noticed palpitations after climax, that's your body asking you to slow down. Try extending your foreplay or stimulation time, breathing deeply, and focusing more on relaxation than intensity. Some men also benefit from climaxing in seated or reclined positions, which puts less pressure on the cardiovascular system than standing or tensing fully upright. The goal isn't to take the joy out of it, it's to make sure the joy doesn't come at the cost of your health. You've worked too hard for too long to let one small burst of activity undo all the effort you've put into caring for your heart. Treat your body with care. Listen to what it's telling you, and remember, pleasure and safety can go hand in hand even at 80. Number 4. Sleep patterns that shift in unexpected ways. Many older men notice that sleep feels different than it used to. It's lighter, more fragmented, and sometimes harder to come by. What most don't realize is that masturbation can influence those patterns for better or for worse. The key lies in when and how often it happens. Right after climax, the body releases a wave of calming chemicals: oxytocin, serotonin, and prolactin. These help explain why many men feel relaxed or even sleepy afterward. For some, especially those who struggle with insomnia or restlessness, this effect can be a helpful way to ease into sleep at the end of the day. It's a natural sedative, but for others, especially if the habit becomes a nightly routine, the body can start depending on that release to trigger sleepiness, and that's where problems begin. If your mind starts to associate rest with orgasm, it may forget how to power down on its own over time. This can actually interfere with your circadian rhythm, might fall asleep quickly, but wake up earlier or feel tired during the day. But wired at night, it's not that the act itself is harmful, it's the reliance on it that starts to disrupt your internal balance. A man named Marvin, 76, once shared that he used to help himself to sleep every night. At first worked, but after a few months he found himself waking up at 3 a.m. and feeling off balance. The next day his sleep doctor suggested breaking the cycle gradually, adding a warm bath, some gentle stretches or reading before bed instead. After a few weeks, Marvin said he could finally sleep through the night again. It wasn't about stopping. He said it was about letting my body relearn how to rest. The body needs variety to stay in rhythm. That includes how it winds down. If you're using masturbation as a tool for relaxation, that's okay, just make sure it's not your only tool. Try switching up your bedtime routine. Keep screens off. Use free, choose soft light. Play calming music. Let your body know that it's safe to slow down with or without that extra release. Because true rest, deep healing rest, doesn't just come from exhaustion, it comes from consistency. And when you give your body that, you find that you sleep more deeply, wake more clearly and feel more grounded in the quiet hours of the night. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Number 5. Dopamine shifts that affect motivation and clarity. There's a reason why some older men say they feel foggy or unmotivated after climax. Even when they weren't physically overexerted, it often comes down to one thing. Dopamine. This chemical is the brain's reward messenger. It spikes during moments of pleasure and falls afterward. And while that cycle is completely normal, repeating it too frequently can throw off your brain's balance. When you stimulate yourself, your brain responds with a short-lived dopamine surge. That's part of what creates the feeling of release. But afterward there's a natural drop, and in older adults that drop can hit harder and take longer to rebound. What this means is that repeated release, especially out of boredom or habit, rather than need, can leave you in a state of low motivation. Tasks you were excited about earlier suddenly feel like a chore. Conversations seem harder to follow. Your focus feels fuzzy. I remember a man named Neil, 72, who used to say, "I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm not, but I just can't get going in the morning." After we talked more, he realized his morning routine had shifted. During retirement, without structure, he was filling empty time with solo pleasure and then feeling deflated afterward. It wasn't guilt, he said. It was like my battery was charged and then gone. This isn't about shame, it's about rhythm. Your brain wants stimulation, yes, but it also needs recovery time. When dopamine spikes and dips too often, it dulls your response to other pleasures, like food, music, conversation, even a sunny day. That's why spacing things out, mixing in new activities, allowing space between those highs, can bring your baseline motivation back up. Try this next time you feel the urge, pause and ask, what else could give me joy right now? Maybe it's a phone call. You're not denying yourself, you're diversifying your sources of pleasure, and in doing so you train your brain to feel more alive, more alert and more satisfied with everyday moments. Because you don't need to chase the next high to feel fulfilled. Sometimes the deepest satisfaction comes from the steady, clear-headed calm of a balanced mind. Number 6. Pelvic floor strain that affects bladder control. What? The lesser-known changes that can sneak up on older men who masturbate regularly is the subtle impact on the pelvic floor. This group of muscles at the base of your pelvis is responsible for more than most people realize, holding up your bladder, supporting your bowel and helping control the flow of urine. And over time, repeated strain during climax, especially without recovery, can start to wear these muscles down. It doesn't happen overnight, but some men begin to notice that they can't hold their urine as long as they used to, or they feel a sudden urge more often, or they dribble a little after using the bathroom. And while aging itself can weaken these muscles, frequent high tension and stimulation without balance can add to the load. There's a man I knew named Dennis, 75, who said he started waking up twice a night to pee, even though he wasn't drinking much water before bed. His doctor checked for infection. Nothing there.
But when they looked deeper, it turned out Dennis had a tight, overused pelvic floor, not from injury but from years of unrelieved tension build-up during release. Without the counterbalance of relaxation exercises, the fix wasn't complicated. He started doing pelvic floor stretches, incorporated deep breathing, and began practicing a few light Kegel exercises. But in reverse, instead of tensing, he focused on relaxing. Within a few weeks, his nighttime urgency decreased and he felt more in control of his body. Again, the lesson: even pleasure needs balance. The muscles you use to reach climax are the same ones you use to stop urine midstream, hold in gas, or steady yourself. When standing, if they're always clenching, never softening, they get overworked and eventually they stop cooperating the way they used to. That's why it's important not just to be aware of how often you're stimulating, but how your body is recovering afterward. Are you letting yourself fully relax? Are you supporting those muscles with good posture, gentle stretches, or even a warm bath now and then? Because taking care of your pelvic floor isn't just about avoiding embarrassment, it's about maintaining dignity, confidence and comfort as you age. And that's something every man deserves. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Final thoughts: getting older comes with changes, some we expect and others that catch us off guard. But when it comes to something as personal as self-pleasure, most men don't realize just how much their body is still responding, still adjusting, still shifting behind the scenes. And the more we understand those changes, the more power we have to take care of ourselves with intention instead of confusion or guesswork. Maybe you've noticed some of these signs yourself: lower energy, slower recovery, changes in sleep, focus, or even bladder control. Or maybe you haven't felt any shifts yet, but you're curious about how this one habit might be affecting the rest of your health. Either way, what matters most is not judgment, but awareness. You don't have to doing something that brings you relief or comfort, but you do deserve to know how your body is being shaped by the choices you make daily. With just a few adjustments, whether that's spacing things out, adding more recovery time, or listening to your body's signals, you can continue honoring your need while also protecting your strength, your clarity and your long-term vitality. So take this knowledge with you, not as a rulebook, but as a guide. Think of it as another tool in your toolkit for aging wisely and living fully, because your body even now is still trying to work with you, not against you. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.